How many people have read the Shift book? Okay, so one person.
It's our book club this month in our office.
Looks like this. What do you guess the book called Shift is about? A shift, yeah. A shift in the market. Now, I don't know if you guys have had a chance, because hopefully you were all doing lead gen before. You didn't have a chance to look in Facebook, but I posted in our Facebook group a really good overview from a really good economist. It's incredibly accurate. His name's Barry Habib. He did a video on a thing I follow, or a post I follow, or a group I follow. But he talked about rising interest rates. They talked about how many more hikes in rates they're going to be doing this year. Right? We're looking in the face of a fairly significant shift. Still a great market. Still plenty of opportunity for all of us. Does not mean blood in the streets. We're not talking an economic downturn. What we're talking about is a traditional shift. Getting back to a normal market. It's a shift of power. It's more of a balance at this point, what we're going into. We're seeing inventory go up. We're seeing price corrections like we haven't seen in years. We're seeing this across the country in multiple markets. Now, if that's the case, we want to prepare for that. Now, so there's 2 M's of lead generation that Gary talks about in Shift. If you've not read it, I can't encourage you enough to read it and start reading it and read it again and again, because this is your reality right now. Blaine and I talked about it. In his market, we're starting to see it. And his market was one of the hottest markets out of all of our regions. Okay? Now let's look at this. So everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. The top represents what happens when agents are what with their lead gen activities?
Inconsistent.
Right. This is called the real estate income what?
Roller coaster.
Roller coaster. When it's good, man, it is good. And when it's bad, top ramen, it sucks. Okay? So this is what most agents practice. And why would you guess that their business looks like this top section right here? Why would you guess it looks like this?
Because they don't leverage their paperwork.
And?
They're busy being busy.
Correct.
Because you make money and then you get comfortable and then you crash and then you don't have any money and you work hard and you make money and you crash.
Yes to all of this. Yes. We're trading tomorrow's business for today's. We're trading tomorrow's business for today's. We get so busy with what we're doing today and managing the stuff that what is the first thing that most agents cut out?
Making phone calls.
Lead gen. So then we know that that's not an instantaneous result. So when do the results show up? All of a sudden, 60 days later, the agent has no pipeline and the cycle continues to repeat, because when you and I get hungry, we go to work. And yet when we're not so hungry, it's a little bit easier not to work at the same pace, right? So the bottom one obviously is the opposite of the top, the consistent lead generation. Now, there are 2 M's of lead generation, and I would encourage you guys to take some notes here, because this is extremely relevant to everything, in my opinion, everything you're doing right now going forward, okay? So there's 2 M's. There's message and method. We're going to talk about method first, and then we'll get into message. So the method is just what it sounds like. How are we communicating to our people? Now, there's 2 ways to do it. What are they? They're on the screen. This is not a trick question.
Prospecting and marketing.
Prospecting and marketing. You guys know this. Now, when MREA came out, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, that research indicated that agents should be marketing-based and prospecting enhanced. And what is Gary, for a long time now, but post that book coming out, what has he switched here? He switched it to where we should be prospecting-based and marketing enhanced. Now, what does he mean by that? He means that the base of our business, the foundation of our business should be prospecting, which we're going to talk more about. It should be supplemented by marketing. Now, remember, when the MREA came out, it was in the 90s. What's changed between then and now that might make some marketing or traditional marketing less effective than it once was?
Social media.
Social media? Ad. What's that?
The skippable ad.
Skippable ad, absolutely. Here's a little stat I wrote down. CBS did a story on this. There was a marketing agency that did a study. In the 70s, the average United States citizen saw or was exposed to, even if our subconscious mind saw them consciously, we may not be aware that we saw them, we still were exposed to about 500 messages per day. 500 messages per day in the 70s. Today, that number's over 5,000. So what are our brains, what are our consumers' brains getting trained to do?
Filter.
Filter and block the noise, right? So I'm not saying marketing's bad. I'm telling you this is why they've switched the thought process from being marketing-based and prospecting enhanced to being prospecting-based and marketing enhanced. Really crucial, guys. Marketing can work and it can back up your prospecting, yet nothing will build your business and create the foundation for a big one like prospecting will. Now, what we know both of those require is what?
Time block.
Time block, right? They both take time. They both require intention. And without putting it on our schedule, it doesn't exist like we talked about before. Now, one of the things we hear most commonly from agents all over the country when we're talking about lead generation and blocking 3 hours per day of lead gen, as outlined in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, is I don't have enough
Time.
time. What else? I wouldn't have enough
People.
interesting. Like, we can create a really big list of crap, right? We can come up with lots of excuses here. Here's what I want you to see. By design, Gary never meant that those 3 hours were all straight calling. Here's the breakdown right here on your screen. The first hour is to do what?
Prepare.
Prepare. That means getting our list together. If you read the one thing, you understand when he talks about task switching. How much time is lost if I'm going to dial, then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to go find my next person to call, click through some sites, find a phone number, come back here and dial, versus if I take an hour on the front end and prepare and have all of my lists, all of my numbers, everything laid out in front of me, how much more efficient am I with an hour of preparation before me? You can do multiple more in significantly less time when you're prepared. The second hour is the actual taking action. This is where I'm actually dialing for dollars or doing Facebook A to Z or shaking hands and kissing babies. Whatever it is, this is where I'm actually doing it. Now, the third hour, tying back to our review of fanatical prospecting, the third hour is where I'm doing what?
Maintaining.
Now, what would this look like? Practically in your world every day, what would maintenance look like?
Putting my notes in my Sync.
Entering notes in Sync, setting people up on searches, sending over home valuations, like whatever there's a lot of things. Whatever you told them you were going to do during the second step, the second hour, the take action hour, the third hour is where we're doing the maintenance and the follow-up. So that's the method. This is the way we're going to communicate. And what we know is there's lots of types of lead generation. Now, this is a list. It's not exhaustive, but it's a great reminder. I'm going to send this recording out to everybody. This list is a great reminder as far as what things we can do under each category. Both are extremely important. There's lots of things you can do prospecting-wise and marketing-wise, and you should have a plan to be doing both at the same time. What we know, though, is before we get there, we have to craft a what?
Message.
A message. Now, again, remember we talked about in the 70s, the average person was exposed to approximately 500 messages per day. Today, it's what?
5,000.
Over 5,000. So our message now more than ever has to be completely in tune with who?
The client.
Market.
With the client and what's relevant. And we're going to talk about this. So the first thing is we have to match our market. And here's what I mean by this. It would make no sense for me in today's market to put out a message to short sales. They're not the market of the moment. Now, I'm not saying there's not short sales, but I hope you follow me here. That's not the market of the moment. Who is the market of the moment? What type of person is the market of the moment right now in your market?
Listings.
Correct. More specifically, the ones that don't think they need you. What are they called?
For sale by owners.
Interesting. Let's play that as an example. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to match our market. So we have to get real clear with who is our target audience. For this example, let's just say FSBOs. You can take this any way you want to, but let's just pretend for example purposes it's FSBOs. So first off, we identify who specifically am I crafting a message for. Gone are the days when people are seeing over 5,000 messages per day. Gone are the days of you being able to just put a broad general, I'm amazing, call me for your buying and selling your homes, and that being effective. It's not going to work anymore. We have to get real specific with who is our target audience. Second, what are the market conditions affecting that target audience? So who specifically am I going after, and what's their reality? What's the market creating as their reality today, right now as we're talking? Now, the second thing we then need to do is what?
Make an offer.
Make an offer. Guys, this is also called what? It starts with a C and ends with Lowe's.
Close.
Close. Absolutely. Great job. You guys are amazing at this. So we have to make an offer. It doesn't matter how cool you are and how great your audience message is and how relevant it is. If we don't make an offer, what are we going to miss out on?
The listing.
Close.
The response at the bottom, right? So we make an offer. Now there's two types of offers we can make, and we'll go more into this on a future call, but there's two types of offers we can make. They are a direct offer and an indirect offer. What would a direct offer sound like?
Put it. I'll give you $5,000 for that watch.
There you go. That's a direct offer. Now what's an indirect offer? You guys use them.
Sell the watch.
Could be. Let's say for home buyers and sellers. Let's say sellers specifically. Some of you are using indirect offers right now, and they're great. An indirect offer might be click here to find out what your home is worth in today's what? Market. Click here to see what other properties are listed in your area. That's an indirect offer. What's the point of an indirect offer?
To direct them to your, you get their information.
You get their information, you get them to take one small step. You're going to want to write this down if you haven't. One small step. A direct offer is like whammo. That's the high D. That's like sign with me, list with me, buy with me. Like that's the direct offer. There is no small step there. You're going from 0 to 100 miles an hour. And it's not wrong. It's just wrong if used in the wrong way. The indirect offer is simply wanting the consumer to take one next step, one more step. What's the next step we can have them take? Because, like we talked about in fanatical prospecting, what we're doing with the indirect offer is building our familiarity. We're getting them to our site. We're getting them to see and hear from us on a regular basis. Does that make sense to everybody? Don't miss this. We have to make an offer. The whole goal of all of lead generation and prospecting is to get the response. Now, MOFR is an acronym you'll hear me say from time to time. That stands for make an offer for immediate response. This is the kind of thing like we just use as click here or enter your information here to see what properties in your market are selling for under $300,000. That's an offer for immediate response. I'm going to give you what it is I think you're looking for based on my study of who you are and who my target is, and I'm going to give you exactly what that is in the time frame you're looking for. You just have to give me something in return. That's making an offer for immediate response. Now, lots of ways we can go through this, and I'm going long here, but I really want you guys to catch this and grab this. You can see that the direct offer under prospecting demands a direct answer, and it quickly identifies those people who are ready to do business with what? Now. Do you agree with me that in your database right now, you have people who are ready now and people who are not ready now and will be ready later? So your job in doing your lead generation and prospecting is to create direct and indirect offers because it helps you sort who is who. Does that make sense to everybody? Those people that are responding to a direct offer, their motivation is likely higher. They're likely ready to do something sooner rather than later. Yet you're going to have a large group of that database that probably isn't going to respond to a direct offer. However, they may respond to what?
Indirect.
Indirect offer. So I want you guys this week to really be intentional about figuring out who is your target audience. What are the market conditions facing them? That then helps you craft a relevant message to them and figure out what would be a direct and an indirect offer so that you can get a response or a gauge on who's who. Doing this inside of your sphere and your database will do wonders for your business because it's going to show you likely what your pipeline looks like if nothing else changes.